Well, we've done it. We've got to the start of the Formula One season, and there's a thing happened in Australia this morning. So go on, let's get into it. I'll let you go first. What are your thoughts on the opening round of the Formula One World Championship in 2026?
Well, the whole 3 days or just today?
No, just the race. Well, we'll start with the race. We'll come back to qualifying. So there's issues there, but let's see what you think.
I mean, it's typical for new regulations. I think in it, there's just the most wild field spread, and there's cars all over the place, and people can't start. And Alonso retired 4 times, didn't he? I think he retired more times than Sir Alex Ferguson. I don't like it. I think the few people I know that watched it live thought that the start was really good between Russell and Leclerc, and I understand it kind of was, but not for the right reasons for me. You go on board and they're only overtaking each other because the other guy runs out of battery. That's just manufacturing overtakes in a weird, non-exciting way. It just didn't make any sense to me. It was like rolling a ball down the hill, and whoever's got most momentum seemed to get first at the end of the lap. It just didn't seem to have any sort of logic to it at all. There's just it wasn't the best driver driving the fastest overtaking another guy. It was always run out of battery. I mean, the commentators kept saying it's strategic now, and I don't like it. I just don't like it at all. It just didn't. It was exciting watching Russell and Leclerc go for it, hammer and tong, but there was always that tinge of it's sort of been manufactured by the fact that it doesn't really work. That's the way I felt, anyway. And
well, we intentionally didn't discuss the race. I didn't watch it live because it was on 4 a.m. in the United Kingdom, and I wasn't doing that to my life. And we haven't spoken about it at all intentionally.
No.
And I was kind of hoping you weren't going to say what you've said. I was hoping we could have a bit of a disagreement on this concept. It was awful. It was truly awful. That wasn't exciting. That wasn't entertaining. The first 7 laps were not racing. They were people just going, oh, I've run out of power in my kettle and your microwave's still got a little bit left so you can pass me. And then you've run out, you've passed me, so I'll pass you. We'll keep doing that. The commentators will keep over-explaining battery charge and sweets in a candy shop for reasons that make no sense in my life. There we go.
The analogies this weekend are some of the worst I've ever come across.
I've spoken to 2 or 3 people who'd been very critical beforehand. Oh, it's fantastic, it's amazing. It's not. I'm sorry. People were critical of DRS overtakes being they were too easy, it was manufactured. This is infinitely worse. We now have people just passing each other on a straight because one guy literally looks like he isn't moving and the other guy's doing 4,000 miles an hour.
I mean, the power drop-off when they run out of battery is ridiculous. It's astronomical.
There wasn't any strategy to this battery crap, let's be honest, because by halfway through the race, when Max is chasing Lando, they've both all of a sudden figured out what the battery does. They've got into a routine, and then nobody can do anything.
Yeah.
Max had got much better tyres in a seemingly quicker car at times. Lando was struggling.
Looks bang average.
And it caught him. He was about 4 seconds behind when they came out of the last pit stop. It gets right up behind him, and Lando figures out what to do with his battery, and then they just sit there.
But yeah, you just use your battery when they use theirs. I mean, they're only going to use it in strategic places. Once you'd figured out the places for overtakes, you figured out the places where to stop the overtakes. It took maybe 10 laps, 12 laps for everyone to figure it out. The problem is now they've kind of figured it out for the rest of the season, haven't they? I know the tracks will be different and the zones will be different, all this stupid shit. But they've kind of figured out how it works now, haven't they? And know how to neutralise it. They are, quite intelligent when it comes to this thing. Yeah, the first, what was it, 8, 10 laps between Leclerc and Hamilton and Russell, where they were fighting for position, would have been exciting in any other set of regulations because it'd have been genuine battling. It was just a case of my phone's run out of battery. Can I use your phone for a bit?
Yeah,
and then your phone ran out of battery, so we rang off somebody else's phone.
Any of that battle was I ever excited? Did I ever get on the edge of my seat? Did I ever think, oh, wow? Because it was like, I know what's happening. You've not got power right now. He has, so he's going to pass you. You're going to go around the next corner. You've saved up a bit. He's just used his. Then you'll pass him back. And we're just going to do this. This is not racing. This is just manufactured excitement.
Excitement for the people who don't watch the sport.
And F1's already on the positive PR spin. They've put out a social media post about how many more overtakes there was this season compared to last season in Australia. They weren't overtakes. There were people driving past other cars that had less power. It's like when you watch Le Mans and they've got categories and it's watching an LMP1 pass a GT3 car. Of course it happens because you've got infinitely more power than the other car. That's not racing.
Look at the start, where Hamilton gets pushed into a bad spot and he's moved to one side and he's got less momentum than the other cars in front of him. And suddenly, because he must have more battery because he didn't use some on the home straight coming down turn one, just drives down the inside of him like he's got a nitrous button. He's on Fast and the Furious. And I was like, how have you clearly come out of turn two? Is it that one?
Yeah.
Going down the straight, 50, 60 kilometers an hour slower than the other cars, but managed to not only get faster than them, but catch them up and pass them into turn three when you had no momentum coming out of turn two. That's just because you whacked a battery button. And it's like, yeah, you kind of generically put yourself in a position you couldn't normally be. And it was really weird. And yeah, I didn't like any of it.
I mean, the start was less chaotic than I expected, but then Ferrari's apparently a rocket ship for the first 145 yards.
And again, it's like people are saying that's exciting. Is that? But it's not, is it? It's just manufactured. You know, George Russell looked like a drift car coming off the grid. One guy didn't move at all and nearly caused complete carnage. And the two Ferraris have got like jet engines for 35 seconds. I mean, Charles Leclerc would have been first if he'd have started 24th. It would that fast off the line, but that's not. You know, you want to see everyone getting away with this. You want to see the best driver, not some slight tweaking what they've done making the difference. You want to see the best driver who's got the best reactions at the start, getting the best start, not because he's got a smaller turbo and he can whack a button and his wing flips upside down. That don't mean anything. That's just manufactured by an idiot, isn't it?
I mean, I've got no problems with F1 cars struggling to get off the start. They've got a difficult, for instance, they've got a difficult clutch and you've got to really find the bite point to get a proper launch. Fine, that's skill. They've built a small turbo. Russell apparently got to the start line with no battery. So when he went to set off, there wasn't any power. So what's the, I mean,
this is not the pinnacle of motorsport, is it? This is like me and you building them things. What's that race where they all go down a hill?
And soapbox derby.
That's just like us doing that. Basically, this is what this is now, isn't it? Who's built the best car that can roll down a hill? It's just not. This is not the pinnacle of a motorsport, of any sport, is it? It's
slight
this is the VAR of Formula One now.
We'd be terrible at the soapbox derby. Utterly awful.
I don't think Ferrari would be much better.
But yeah, I didn't find any of it exciting. I didn't find any of it enjoyable. It just happened. I sat there and watched it, and I was like, "Oh, Russell's won. Okay." There's no. The only part that was remotely entertaining. I mean, Max drove really well to get through the field, and Lindblad drove brilliantly against him, which I thought was quite dangerous to do when you're in the Red Bull family. How dare you hold up Max Verstappen? But he did, and fair play to him. So my positives: Hajar drove brilliantly up to his engine, deciding he wanted to spontaneously combust. Lindblad drove brilliantly.
I didn't realise he was English as well, or British.
Yeah. Aston Martin got further than 4 feet, so well done to you.
Yeah, it was. I liked how the commentator went, Stroll's done more than the 25 laps he said he'd do. I was like, was that an achievement? Well done.
I'm going to come back to Aston Martin because I've got a few issues with them, but we'll come back to that. But then, if we go back to yesterday, now I was having this discussion. Yes, it was yesterday. Yesterday dinner time for you. Yesterday early hours morning for me. So qualifying happens, and this is meant to be the height of those cars at the fastest they can be on the limits of grip. Pushing and pushing flat out. And everybody went into turn 9 and lost 50 miles an hour and downshifted gear.
Yeah. It was ridiculous. I mean, on board, saying it sounds ridiculous. Go on board when they're approaching the corner, and the first thing I thought is, oh, it's breaking down. And then he rockets out of the corner the other way. And I'm like, how is that a thing? Is this a thing because it's new, or is this a thing that's just going to happen all season?
This is the thing that's going to happen all season. And watching it, even on the off-boards, the corners seem that tame these days. I kept thinking, oh, he's backed off. He's aborted the lap. And then all of a sudden he'd rocket out down the straight and did fastest lap. I'm like, I can't get on board with this. I will struggle to get on board with this concept. Driving in a straight line quickly is easy for anybody, unless you're Richard Hammond.
You would hope so.
Richard Hammond does struggle with that concept, but the corners is where the skill comes in. And to me, the skill level now, so like how Max Verstappen takes a corner, how Charles Leclerc, how Lewis Hamilton, their skill set around cornering is now irrelevant because we all do it at half throttle, really tame, because we need electricity for the next straight road.
So it's point and squirt then, isn't it? It's point, squirt down straight, slow down for a corner, point, squirt down straight. I mean, what do we do at like, is it China? With the really
it's
long
like 4 miles long.
I mean, it's going to be like a trolley race by end, isn't it? I mean, they're literally just going to all have like gathered in a little pile. There's like 18 wide into the bottom corner where they've all just run out of power. And it's like they're all going to be looking for a charging station at end of straight so they can get a bit of power to get back up the next. I mean, it's literally a turn and then back up another straight. You know, I know it's not quite as long, but did the rules change for China next week? Can they have more battery down the straight? Do they have a couple of Duracells to chuck in? Have they got
Because the most they could use in the race today, I think, was 7 kilojoules per lap.
Is that for every race then, or is that just for today?
No, so the maximum is 8.5 that the regulations allow. They will tweak that within the regulations per race, but the battery still only holds 4. It's irrelevant what you can use because you basically you're charging using all lap. When you come off that bank turn in China, which will now be the slowest corner in Formula One probably, because they daren't be accelerating around that corner because you'll have used half your battery. You've then got a 2-3 kilometer straight. No, that's probably an excessive 1.5 kilometers straight, and you won't have enough electricity. I'm sorry.
Well, they didn't have enough electricity to get down the Australia straight today, and that's after a quite a sharp left before you turn right to really, And they didn't have enough power to get down that today. They were clipping towards the bridge.
And that's probably half the length of the one in China.
Yeah, they're going to literally be clipping from halfway down the straight, aren't they? Which is the least exciting thing I've ever seen on TV. It makes Coronation Street look like a drama. I mean, everyone's just slowing. It's like you've turned the engine off to save fuel. It's like dipping the clutch when you're driving your car because you've only got 3 miles left and you go to find a petrol station, isn't it? I mean, it's like, how is this the pinnacle of motorsport?
It's not. It's not the pinnacle of anything. Qualifying should be the pinnacle. So it's flat out, it's on the edge, it's balls to the wall basically going for it. And none of it was. We were all nicely, say you get to that back, the chicane at the end of the back straight is one of the most exciting parts of the Australian track because it's fast and you can gain a lot of time. They were all coming up to it, running out of power. Antonelli at one point, he's running out of that much power. He downs a gear just to keep a bit of momentum, loses 50 miles an hour on entry and cruises through a corner. I'm like, well, that wasn't entertaining or exciting.
And it made worse for me because I watch a different series within racing and it was on at the same weekend. And having watched, and that's nowhere near as big as Formula One, doesn't cover the same, mass audience. But it was so nice to watch cars with engines. They all had engines in them. Toyota have joined, you won't know this. So the V8 supercars were Chevrolet and Ford. Toyota have joined this year, and they've joined with a 5.2 litre V8.
Nice.
That's an engine that should be in a race car. Now, you know how many batteries are in that car? 0.
Probably just the one for the engine.
They'll probably just start it in the garage. Don't even have a battery on it. But there's no batteries. There's no clipping. It was just guys racing old school racing, big engines, loud noises, lots of crashes, lots of shoving each other and bumping each other and running into walls, and everyone just full throttle from the minute they start for 24 laps and just flat out. Exactly what Formula One should be, but probably 25% faster because the cars are so much better. And Formula One is 25%. I mean, I would go as far to say now that Formula 2 and Formula 3 are better.
Yeah.
They're just a better spectacle to watch altogether. What I don't understand, and this is something I was going to come on to, is how do Formula 2 and Formula 3 now link to Formula 1? Because the two
Ask
totally
me another
different
one.
now, aren't they?
I can't. I literally can't.
You know,
I can't answer that.
Just like having your reserves playing Brazilian League, isn't it? And then trying to get into playing Premier League next week. I mean, it's just the three totally different. F2 and F3 are a totally different series to Formula 1 now. They don't follow on at all. You're not.
And then the other major gripe I've had. So this battery power deployment thing isn't even figured out by the driver or the engineers. All done by AI and the car learning where to utilize the battery.
AI.
I don't want Formula One to be an AI racing series where the car's learning. I'm sorry, I don't. You might say it's progress. It's not.
It's not. But AI should be used in the software in the, back at the factory to develop things. It shouldn't be in the car picking how the car drives. No, that should be solely down to the driver.
Yes.
And if they have got to deploy these things, then the driver has to do it, not some computer learning. I mean, it's like just so many things are taken away from the driver now, aren't they? And given to a computer to do. And then we say, oh, these are the greatest drivers in the world. Well, some of them probably aren't, because if we made them do the things that need doing, they'd be pretty. I mean, I'd love to know which guy explained the AI part to Lance Stroll. I mean, he's an intelligent.
I don't think Aston Martin's car's got it yet.
That's what the problem is with theirs. So come on, what are Aston Martin then, other than a farmer's
doomed,
team?
Completely doomed.
I mean, they've got in the greatest engineer in Formula One. Is an engineer, is that the right thing to use? Aerodynamicist.
Yeah.
Is in Formula One history. And then, is it the engine? Is it the rest of it?
It's the engine and it's
from a Nissan Micra and a battery from a little torch you get out of a lottery machine.
So, a bit of background. Honda were stepping back from Formula One when it was announced that Red Bull were moving to Ford. They've then teamed up with Aston Martin. In the interim period
of step back then, literally.
Well, yeah, and this is the problem.
Thing for the worst.
That apparently Aston Martin didn't know until late on. All the best people at 100 moved out of the Formula One program and the engine program and have gone to work on solar panels and saving polar bears. So basically, it's a novice team that's built this engine. Kind of shows, because it's not very good.
How novice, though? I'm like, never put an engine together before, ever. Is this like apprenticeship level novice? It's like day one, this is an engine. This is how it turns on. I mean, what can they do now? I mean, there's no point even suing anyone, is there? They're stuck with it.
And they don't have any spare parts.
Can they change engine supplier mid-season?
No.
No? You can't just whack a Mercedes engine in back of it?
No, they're stuck with that. And then the bigger problem I had with Aston Martin as well today, and I'm guessing it must be allowed within the rules, Lance Stroll went in the pits for 12 laps and was then allowed to rejoin 12 laps down.
Well, I did say to you, didn't I, that Martin Brundle suggested this.
What? How is that a thing?
Well, this is what I mean. I mean, surely he only has to complete 75% of the race to get qualified.
No, 90.
90?
Yeah, to complete 90% of the race to be classified.
No, Brundle said it was 75%.
Well, unless they've changed the rule, but it used to be 90.
I mean, I don't know from Adam, but I couldn't tell you. I wouldn't have been able to guess the rule. But anyway, there's a number. Have they just basically completed the number and then
No,
figured out that?
not. There were 12. He was 12 laps behind. Now I understand if you
No,
need to.
what I'm saying is, have they literally decided that they only need to do 41 laps to finish the race and get categorised? So they've literally done 41 laps. Is that what they've actually probably done, or are they just?
They took the car in the pit lane and worked on it. Basically, they've changed the setup of the car in the middle of the race for 12 laps and put him back out. I get losing a lap if you've got an issue, but after 3 laps down, you should be saying, right, you're not allowed to re-enter this race. 12 laps, and you're just going to go, oh, I'm back, look at me, I'm in the race. Well, you're not. Well, 1, you never were. 2, you land strolling, you probably don't even know where you are. And 3, you're actually now about an hour behind. So if you've got to do them 12 laps to catch up, you'll still be doing it now.
And the theory behind coming back out after 12 laps was to run some tests?
Yes. Basically, it was as a test session.
So this is the 4th or 5th test session we've had. This one wasn't actually behind closed doors, although most of it was done in a garage. So it slightly was behind closed doors. Yeah, I mean, more cars finished than Brundle suggested would.
Yeah, I think they only lost 8 in the end.
But some of them didn't really finish, did they? I mean, they were that far behind. You can't really say you're in the race.
No.
You know, I mean, I was probably closer to Russell in Perth than Stroll was in the Aston Martin. It was, you know, he was categorically miles away, wasn't it? So, yeah, I just don't understand. I understand regulations take time to bed in, don't they? I think you've got to, certain parts of it we're going to have to accept are just not right at the minute, and probably 5-6 races in we'll settle down a bit. But fundamentally, the laws and the new rules don't work, do they?
In my opinion, no. And they won't change. The concept of this running out of back power on a straight won't go away.
So if this keeps happening, is there a way that the FIA say, right, we can make you're allowed to use a bigger battery?
No.
That's not fundamentally something that would happen.
No, and then the time to engineer that battery, manufacture that battery, change the shape and size of the car to fit the battery in it, just not feasible. There's no way. They can't increase the power from the engines because they're limited on fuel size tank, fuel flow rates, weight. So that can't change. There's not a lot they can do. I genuinely don't believe there's much that they can change now without going, can the season? We'll come back next January with a V8 and we'll do it properly.
Well, yeah. Just take them engines that are in all them V8 supercars and just say, if you've got a spare, can we borrow one? Sure, have them. Drop one in a Formula 1 car and let's see some proper racing between 18 decent drivers and a few shit ones. And let's get going. I mean, yes. Cadillac, they're in dire straits as well, aren't they? Let's be honest.
But we expected them to be. That's not a surprise. You would have expected them to be last by a considerable distance. Fine.
Did Audi get a point?
Audi did with Bortoletto in 8th or 9th. Because Hulkenberg didn't start.
No.
We have missed a person who also didn't start, the local man. I missed this because obviously I was watching it.
I missed this as well. So I was running some errands, sorting the kids out, blah, 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 and literally sat down as the 3rd or 4th car went round the first bend. And a friend of mine texted me saying, I'm watching the Formula 1. Yeah, I've just sat down. He put, where's Oscar starting from? So I put 3rd. Oh, no. And then I went, no, he's not 3rd. He's a 5th. Actually, I don't know where Oscar's starting from. And he put, he's not. And I was like, why? Like, he's crashed in the warm-up. And I was like, nah, we've not even done the formation lap yet. So I proceeded to watch the formation lap and couldn't find Oscar. And then got sent the video of him having a power surge.
So now, he's come out of turn 2, I think it is.
Quickly, you'll remember what a power surge is. Because our granddad used to have a long black white plug behind his TV and it had a green switch on it. And it was to stop power surges when they came into your house. Did they need one of these 6-pin plugs with a power surge adapter on the end of it to plug into Oscar's car so that when he gets a power surge, it trips the power?
So apparently he had cold tyres. He had no battery. Then
on his way to the track, he had cold tyres. Was he shocked?
And
he had what? No battery.
He had no battery. Then he had a lot of battery all of a sudden. Hit the curb, spun it, and ploughed it into a wall.
But then his manager said that didn't happen, basically, later on in the race.
Oh, I haven't seen that bit.
Yeah, so they had Zach Brown.
Zach Brown, yeah.
So he was about 8 laps to go, 6 laps to go. He was talking at the end, and they said to him it was a power surge, and he said, "We looked at the data, and we don't think that's what it was, but we need to go over it in detail." So I don't know. I just from what Zach said, it just sounded like maybe it just crashed at his home race. And when I say home race, I think he lived about 2 kilometers from the track and used to literally walk to the track as a boy. It's not just his like Australian Grand Prix. This is like his back garden, and he's literally crashed into his house wall. I mean, that's considering how bad McLaren or how slow McLaren looked to start with, and I'm sure they'll figure some things out as they go along. To be that far behind already is not ideal, is it?
The last negative I'm going to pick up before we try and do a little bit of positives on this. We'll try and do, a bit of yin and yang to this. It won't go very well, I know. Max Verstappen in qualifying comes up to turn 1, presses the brake pedal, which is an unusual concept as you come to a corner. Had a software glitch and it pitched him in a wall. It's quite concerning at 200 miles an hour.
Was this the AI part?
This is the brake-by-wire part, and it didn't brake all by the wire. It just locked the rear axle and flew him off.
So it was some sort of software thing then? Is that what they said?
Yeah, a software glitch locked the rear axle as he pressed the brake pedal and pitched him into a wall. I mean, wow. How do you then go into turn 1 this morning going, this is going to be all right?
I mean, fair dues to Max. I'm far from a Max fan, but he's got balls of steel to go back out in that car. Because I'd have given him the keys and said, fuck you, I'm going home. Until that software is removed, deleted, I'm not getting in that fucking car again. Not a
Give me a brake pedal with a hydraulic hose that attaches to my brakes. That'll do.
Oh, I want an anchor in my car I'll throw out. I mean, fuck that.
Yeah.
That is scary. I mean, at least I suppose when he hit the brakes, something happened. The glitch could have been worse that when he hit it, the pedal went to the floor and fuck all happened. That'd have probably been worse. But yeah, that's... I mean,
he was also saved by the new regulations because he'd run out of power by the end of the straight. He was already slowing down.
He was actually doing 72 miles an hour when he hit the brakes. But
in a real Formula 1 car, that would have been really bad because he'd have been doing 200, but this was backing off
from when he crossed line. Yeah, and that was... I mean, it wasn't a massive hit, was it? But it was a fair old shunt. It was a...
Well, yeah, but on a track where there's maybe less runoff at turn 1 or a street track, Monaco, you're plowing straight into a wall.
Yeah. I mean,
scary.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think I'd have just parked it up and said, "Nah, not for me this week, guys. This is a software glitch. We need to figure that one out." I mean, he did that, and then his other car did the engine blow up on his one. I didn't hear.
Well, it looked like an engine blow up. There was a lot of dark grey smoke coming out of the back of that, so I'm pretty assuming that's an engine
blow. Is it week 1 and an engine's gone bang? Do they still have limits on how many engines they can run a season? Is that still a thing?
Yes. And weirdly, Mercedes have already changed something on their car between qualifying and the race and put in their second of 2. You only get 2 of them for the whole season, and they're on to the second one already on week 1.
I mean, I don't know what part it was and how important it is, but if you're only allowed 2, I'm guessing they're going to get a penalty at some point soon. Probably.
Well, unless they're allowed to refurb the original one, but yeah, they've put it onto the second one already. So unless they're just bedding them in and they last kind of there's only 2 for 24 races are expected to last a long time. I wonder if they're just bedding it in. I don't know. Don't understand it. It's far too technical. But let's do some positives. Ferrari were less Ferrari than normal. They got both cars off the line. Now, we'll get to that. We're doing the positive bit. Stop it.
Sorry. Well, they are red, yeah. And they had 2 cars. They had 2 drivers.
Quite red.
Yeah, well. They both turned up. They both got off the grid. They both took part. There was no water on the seat.
For the most part, they both drove very well. Very composed. Charles battled for the lead. But then Ferrari became slightly more Ferrari in the middle of the race, and we had a virtual safety car, and they ignored it twice.
Yeah.
Interesting call. I mean, I don't think they have the pace to win. Put that out there. I think Merc is still too quick, but you kind of guaranteed you weren't going to win. So there was a slim hope, and doing what you did meant there was no hope.
Yeah, because they were a safety car late on away from potentially being in the race.
Yes.
Had they played the rules properly. I mean, they came out after their pit stop and couldn't catch the Mercs.
No.
So it was kind of like you're building a tyre offset that you can't use because you're not quick enough. So surely just stay in front of them and try and defend just try and hold position would have been a better shot. At least if you're on the track in front of them, you can have some influence. If you're 10.4 seconds behind, as Charles Leclerc were, you can't do anything.
And again, what seems to be happening is you've got the drivers calling strategy. Lewis Hamilton saying at least one of us should have boxed. They ignored him, obviously, because it's Ferrari. And then they continue to talk about it, and we should box. And then they both just drive past the pit lane again. But at least this time, there was men stood in the pit lane with tyres. But we just didn't bother to use them.
Didn't fit them. And then on the second time, they shut the pit lane because the guy broke down at the pit lane.
Didn't like that.
It was didn't like that. What, the fact he parked up there or the fact that they closed it?
Both. So Bottas could have got that closer to that safety road that was just to the left. And then they left it open long enough to allow half the grid to pit and then went, this might be dangerous, shut it. If you're going to let some do it, let them all do it.
This is typical FIA stuff, though, isn't it? It's like, it's like happening in 2021, and you've got to go one way or the other. But I mean, how dangerous was Bottas's car that he couldn't drive it another 40 foot down the pit lane and park it in the V8 supercars pit lane?
There was a gap to the right, just in the fence. He could have just literally 8 foot turned right.
He slammed on the brakes and skidded it to a stop, didn't he? It was like, this is going to implode. Like MI5 type shit. You know, you watch Mission Impossible, this will explode in 5, 4, 3, 2. Stop now, quick. Is it going to blow up? I was like, how bad can it be that he's got to stop there and he can't even just roll into the pits? But then
from that point, as soon as he stopped there, the race director and the stewards know one thing and one thing only. That car will have to be pushed forward into the pit lane to find a service road. So don't allow anybody to pit. Shut it immediately because there's a car there. Because what you've done is all them that have got there quick enough, you've gone, we'll let them go. Oh, wait, now we're going to have to move that car. Shock horror. The pit lane shut. Well, that car was always there. So you should have shut it from minute one, in my opinion. Doesn't change the race at all. I just don't like how they managed it. It's just seems a bit ridiculous.
There's no chance in hell. I mean, Ferrari probably wouldn't have pitted because there were...
Why would you?
The thing is, to me, they brought Lewis Hamilton in for a number of reasons. Most of the reasons probably weren't racing reasons. There were, PR reasons, and he brings with him a lot of money and sponsorship and stuff like that. But if he starts giving you advice, especially when he's one of the drivers that he wants to pit, I kind of think it's worth listening to him. I mean, it's kind of his choice in a way. I know it's a team game, but if he wants new tyres, he kind of wants new tyres, doesn't he? He's driving the car, and he's not like he's, a Lindblad and he's a rookie. He's been racing 20 years plus. Kind of, again, I'm just looking and thinking, just put a bit of weight on what he's saying and just think about it. If Lewis Hamilton is saying that we should box one of the cars, then there's a thought process there, surely, that says maybe there's authority. I'm not saying you have to listen to everything he says, but it made sense to me to pit somebody, and I'm just an idiot. And Lewis Hamilton's saying pit somebody. So why is the guy at Ferrari not thinking, actually, this just,
Because, I mean, even if you only pick one of them, you at least cover both bases then. You've got one-on-one strategy, one on another. The chances are
what he said.
One of them is the right strategy.
But once he has told them that, surely you then have to think, we're fucking this up here. Let's listen to him. This is a good idea. And they just don't.
And especially when 90% of the other cars that are racing all pit. A bit like Qatar last year with McLaren. When everybody pitted bar, then you're probably going at that point, we might have got this a bit wrong.
But don't admit you've got it wrong and change. Just stick to your guns because you're so.
Well, this is it. McLaren last year in Qatar didn't have a chance to correct it because they came out behind the pit lane. Ferrari had another lap. They had a second go at that and still
went. And then a second virtual safety car not long after. Yeah. This wasn't just like, oh shit, we've missed the pits. They went round again and still didn't pit, and then got another virtual safety car and didn't pit, and then the pits then short. And it's like, don't need. How many more times do you need? An error once is fine, but to make it 4 times is just stupidity again, isn't it? It's just we're just repeating the same mistake. And I mean, they're not going to win anything at the minute. It's not fast enough. But even if they were, they concern you, don't they? Again,
yeah. And then suppose you come on to then the only team that will be happy with everything today, and Mercedes won too. But thanks to the wonderful stats on a British TV channel, we know that that was the first one since the 1950s that didn't include Lewis Hamilton. So well done to them.
I'm like, who has given somebody that stat this morning?
I'm guessing based on the fact they expected Mercedes to be that quick that they thought it would be a possibility that it could happen.
I mean, they were quick, weren't they? Very, very quick. And it's their engine that's superior, is it?
And the tyres lasted forever. They were actually like nearly road tyres. He probably could have used them and still kept driving for quite a long time after that race ended, which is another one of my major gripes with this new series. So we're now getting graining on tyres because basically they're not getting hot enough because we're not going through corners with any speed. So the tyres now are going to last forever. Literally, there won't be tyre wear, I don't think. There'll be tyre graining because of the way we're using them, but I can't see there being much tyre wear or overheating. Because overheating happens in a corner, when you're sliding, when you're pushing. It doesn't happen in a corner anymore. You do it very slowly and very nicely and very much like Miss Daisy would drive round to the shops. So we won't get tyre wear. Engines will explode. Aston Martin will be a year behind because they don't have a battery or a car or tyres. Cadillac will tell their car drivers to stop immediately because it might explode. So yeah, all in all, I'm not enthused by any of it. Didn't enjoy any of it. And I think it's all stupid.
And we've got 4 days and we do it all again.
Yes.
5 days.
China. But thanks to Donald Trump, we may miss a month because of what he's done in Iran and the slight bombing that's happened there. So Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, and
Qatar.
The other one, I can't remember, maybe cancelled. Not Qatar, because that's end of season.
Oh, Saudi Arabia.
There is another one in that area.
Saudi
Arabia. No, that's end of season. Unless there's only 2 right now. I can't remember. But anyway, those might be cancelled. They won't be replaced if they are cancelled.
Yeah, I've seen this.
But that would mean that after Japan, we take a month off and return in Miami in a car park. Oh, God.
I mean, are the most exciting tracks going to be the least exciting tracks now?
Yes.
So Monaco, because there's no straights, unless George Russell makes it a straight by just driving straight, which is going to be a detriment to him because he'll run out of power halfway across the chicane and end up back behind the guy who's cut the corner to pass. So that's probably not going to be a good idea. So yeah, the short non-speed tracks, and I can't think of many of them. I'm thinking Monaco. Britain's going to be horrendous.
Yes. Utterly awful.
I mean,
and then there's another one that, so when you look at the best tracks that people historically tend to love in Formula One, Brazil.
Yeah.
Brazil has a very twisty middle section, so you won't use much battery there, fine. But from the bottom of that hill to turn 1 is a bloody long way, and it's uphill. I'm pretty sure the batteries will be under more strain going uphill.
So by the top of the hill, by the time they start to turn real left and that banking kicks in, they're going to be clipping all the way down the main straight through the thing.
Aston Martin
they're going to hit the brakes at turn 1 and hope the software is currently valid. Otherwise, they're going to do what that other guy did last season and
the
real mess of the wall.
Aston Martin might not have the power to get up that hill. It might actually not make it. It might just kind of run out of gears.
Well, Silverstone's going to be possibly the worst Silverstone race we've ever seen because the theatre of speed is not going to be fast.
So when you look at Silverstone,
the long back straight, the hanger straight.
Before that, so where I normally sit at Woodcote, the old pit straight. So you come out of Woodcote and Luffield.
Yeah.
It's on the old pit straight. It used to be a flick into Copse, pretty much flat out these days. You would then go into Maggotts, Beggots, and Chapel, I think it is. One of the best sections in Formula One. That section at the top of that hill, on the top of the airfield, it's one of the best parts of Formula One. But it isn't anymore because they're all going to do it at half speed.
So they're going to be.
We need electricity to get down Hanger Straight.
To get enough electricity through them. So do you get electricity by coming off the power, or do you get electricity by actually braking?
Neither. The engine does it itself. So
see, I've understood these regulations really well.
So when you're seeing them on the back straight in Australia, they aren't lifting. The engine is revving back itself. That's the program telling it it's run out of power, rev back, because that's what super clipping is. That then they're using the engine to put back the power in the battery instead of sending it to the wheels. So him pressing the pedal, they've moved basically the engine isn't powering the wheels, it's powering the battery to regenerate electricity. So he isn't actually letting off. It just doesn't. When he presses the pedal, it puts the power to the battery, not the wheels. For people doing this in audio, he's still there. He's just looking completely befuddled by everything in his life.
I don't even know what question to ask. That's blown my mind. To be
yes.
So he's just flat out.
Yes.
It's like running out of petrol.
Yes.
But then a little man chucks the petrol back in 40 foot further down the road, and you can go again.
Yes.
Wow. Well, that's exciting.
So what we're going to do probably at Silverstone is the Maggots and Beckett's section. They probably will lift in there because it's a corner, so you can kind of get away with lifting. But if they didn't and tried to take it full power, they'd run out before halfway down Hanger Straight, and then you've got to try and get up way around Stowe and into Villy, Abbey, and Farm, whatever it is at the end of the lap, with no power.
But everyone's going to be of the same problem, aren't they? So it's kind of going to be like, it's going to be like rolling a lot of marbles down a hill, and they're just all going to make their own way to bottom somehow at some point.
I mean, but again, the best sections of certain tracks, Japan, the uphill S section in that, it's one of the best flowing sections in Formula One. Won't be anymore. It'll all be half throttled, conserving power, because we've then got to get up to the end of the lap where the long straight is into 130R.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same at USA, isn't it? At the Toka Tech.
Quarter.
I knew I nearly got it right. That one, I mean, that's like Silverstone, isn't it? That's sweeping.
Yeah.
At the top.
That'll all be terrible now. It'll all be half throttle.
I'm trying to think of the other tracks that have got long
I'm not quite sure how Monza's going to work. I know Monza does have 2 braking zones at least, so there's 2 chicanes, but after that, it's just a lot of accelerating.
Yeah, Monza's bad because you come out of that final and you go all the way down the back straight, round the corner pretty much flat out, and all the way down the main straight.
Yes.
I mean, they're going to need like half a dozen men running alongside cars, changing. Yeah, this is really... I mean, we've not even got to the worst of this then, have we?
Oh, no. Bearing in mind, Australia is one of the worst 4. It's in the bottom 4 for battery recharging. So we've got rid of one of the really worst ones. But then Baku...
But it's not the worst in the sense of it hasn't really got the long straight that's going to cause the problem, has it?
No, because there's no braking zones really in Australia, they can't regenerate it.
But the long straight, whether you've got 9,000 corners before, even if you've got full battery when you hit China straights and Hanger straights, you're not getting to the end, are they?
No.
So we haven't seen this yet, really, have we? Because that straight in Australia, where it's clipping at the end, is probably the last sort of 100 meters, 80 meters before the corner. We're going to be talking half a kilometer on some of these tracks where we've run out of power.
Which brings me to Baku. So the middle sector, again, the middle sector, great. You can recharge all your battery to your heart's content. You come out of that what is the final corner? I mean, I know there's an S. There's technically like a half a chicane on what is the main straight, but you accelerate full throttle from that last 90-degree left-hander at the start of sector 3 right to turn 1.
So by the time it gets straight, you've pretty much run out of battery.
So how is this going to work?
I guess they're going to do a little bit of something in that S and might have to lift a little bit. I don't even know how it works, so I'm just guessing here. But once they hit the straight, they're pretty much all battery dead. I mean, yeah, they're just going to crawl to the end.
It won't. Visually, you won't notice because in a race, everybody will do it.
That's what I'm saying. It's going to get away with it.
This is going to be ridiculous because if you go on board a Baku hot lap in qualifying. You're going to get halfway down that straight, maybe even less, and it's just going to go, and all the power's just going to disappear.
Then is some battery going to come back and they're going to go again?
Maybe.
So we're going to have like this like cat and mouse down the straight where he's got 7%, I've got 9%, he's got 11%, and we're all just going to be. Yeah, I don't know, mate. This sounds. It sounds worse. I never even thought of the straight parts. This was bad enough this weekend, but yeah, China, Baku. Baku was a big straight, isn't it?
Yeah.
Baku's that good. If you stand at the end, you can't even see the cars at the top of the straight. It's that far away.
I mean, I know it's not an actual straight, but in terms of full throttle, I'm guessing that's probably possibly the longest part in Formula One. China's pretty long at that point. We talked a little bit about America, the S section where they'd be slow. There's then a really long back straight there.
Yeah,
I'm not quite sure how this all works.
Got more problems to come then.
So the positivity that I started on about 15 minutes ago didn't go well.
But listen, there was a few drivers that drove well.
Yes.
In all seriousness, young drivers. Yeah, I've done. I've run out of steam.
The weather was nice. It was sunny.
Yeah, it was it didn't rain like last year. We got to manage to finish all of the racing, and it finished, so we don't have to watch it again.
That was probably the biggest positive of all of it. We got to the end.
When we got to the end, I turned it off and thought, well, thank fuck that's finished. I mean, there was no real excitement after that. After that first bit. Who else overtook anyone of any note?
Apparently there was 125 overtakes or something, but I've got no idea because I just found it all very dull.
I can't think of anyone particularly having a major battle.
Max passed a lot of people, but he was just in a better car. So yes, there was 120.
Yeah, it's that series again. I mean, he was in a top sort of 6 car running 20th. They got 15 cars in front of him that were not, they weren't even in the same league as him, were they? They were just ridiculously. Yeah, it was. And he obviously is a much better driver as well. So even if they were, he'd still overtaken most of them. Yeah. I can't say it's whet the appetite. I can't say it's done a lot for it. And I think the worst thing is we're stuck with it, aren't we?
Yeah.
That's probably the most. If this was like November and we're thinking, God, this is realistic, at least we're thinking, well, a couple of months and we can have a reset and come back in the summer with something new. But we're stuck for 9 more months of this,
and without them massively overhauling the regulations, you're stuck with this for at least 2029, which is the more concerning part.
That sounds like a long time.
It does.
I mean, we'll just have to find another sport to watch.
We will.
The thing is, what happened at the start is going to draw people to the sport who don't understand the sport because it looked exciting.
Yes.
People don't understand why it was exciting. It wasn't exciting because it was great racing and, people at the best. It was exciting because things kept stopping and starting and stopping and starting and nobody understood why. And then when they did understand why, everyone just followed each other home because they couldn't do anything about it.
Yes, pretty much.
I mean, the commentator said, they can all follow each other a lot closer now. I'm like, well, yeah, because he's going 50 kilometers an hour slower than the guy behind him. Rocket science. He can follow him because the guy can't get away from him. We've got the anchors on, and then suddenly when he can, he disappears again. I mean, the gaps just grew and shrunk really weird, didn't they? It was like the VSC, like when you watch it under VSC, they jump all over, don't they? It was like, Hamilton was like 4 seconds behind, and the next thing was 1.7 because he'd suddenly got battery. And Leclerc was obviously running at 3/4 of power, and it was like, this is really strange.
Yeah, it was very, very strange. But luckily for everybody else in the world, there wasn't really any football this weekend, so I think we've probably moaned as much as we can moan for one Sunday afternoon. Yeah, it happened. It will happen again next Sunday. It will happen again in the early hours of next Sunday morning, so I won't get up and put myself through that at the crack of dawn, because why would I? I've got better things to do with my time, like bang my head against a brick wall, if I'm quite honest.
Or charge your phone?
Yes, charge my phone would also help. But once again, thank you all very much for watching, listening, and putting up with those literally rant on about everything that we hate in the sporting world. One day, I don't know when that day will come, we may do an episode that is fully positive about the sporting world. But don't hold your breath on that, because if you do, you'll probably be dead long before it ever happens. But we'll be back with you all again next week, so thank you very, very much.